meeting to order. Mary, roll, please.
Hartzer, Cloyd, Howard,
Here.
Redland,
Here.
Showalter.
Here. Please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. We'll start off with public comment. Do we have anybody signed up? Okay, we'll move on to the consent agendas. Item A, B, and C. Item A is the 4/20/26 commission meeting minutes. Item B is the 4/29/2026 special commission meeting minutes. And item C is appropriation ordinances 2026-09, 2026-09A, 2026-09B, and 2026-P09. Any questions, comments, or concerns about the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items A through C.
Have a motion by Commissioner Redland,
Second.
second by Commissioner Howard. Mary, roll.
Cloyd? Yes. Hartzer, Howard,
Yes.
Redland,
Yes.
Showalter.
Yes. We'll move on to presentations and proclamations. We'll start off with National Police Week. Kent, do we have anybody that wants to speak before we introduce
I
this?
don't know, Assistant Chief Wright, did you want to say anything regarding National Police Week?
No, not really, except I'm proud of the work that the officers are putting in. You're finally fully staffed. I'll have any.
Okay. Well, we certainly appreciate everything that the department does and continues to do for the citizens and the commission and all the people of the city of Goodland. And we want to declare it National Police Week this coming May 10th through the 16th. And I'll go ahead and read this proclamation. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas there are approximately 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Goodland Police Department, and whereas the members of the Goodland Police Department play an important role in safeguarding rights and freedoms of the citizens of our community, and whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, over 24,500 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have been killed in the line of duty. And whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all fallen officers and their families, and U.S. flags should be flown at half staff. And now, therefore, I, Jason Showalter, Mayor of the City of Goodland, do hereby proclaim the week of May 10th through the 16th as National Police Week in the City of Goodland, and encourage all citizens to publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and communities across the nation. I hereunto set my hand to cause the seal of the City of Goodland to be affixed the 4th day of May, 2026. Would certainly like you guys to come up and take a picture with us if you wouldn't mind. Okay. Finally, for once, I'm dressed appropriately. I don't have a sweatshirt and shorts on.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the next proclamation for Building Safety Month. Zach, do you have anything that you want to say? Okay. Well, we would like to declare it Building Safety Month also in the City of Goodland, so I'll read our next proclamation here. Whereas Building Safety Month is an international campaign led each May to raise awareness about building safety and the importance of modern, regularly updated building codes in protecting life, health, and property. And whereas, excuse me, the 2026 theme Built to Last emphasizes the role of resilient construction and building codes in protecting individuals, families, and communities from hazards such as fire, severe weather, and structural failure. And whereas building codes are essential to safeguarding homes, workplaces, schools, and public spaces, and our society's most effective tool for reducing risks and ensuring structures are safe, sustainable, and accessible. And whereas the City of Goodland's building official and the fire chief of Sherman County Fire Department play a vital role in enforcing, adopting codes, conducting inspections, and working daily to safeguard and protect the public health, safety, and welfare of the community. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion of our vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, architects, engineers, building tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, electricians, and other in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure safe construction of buildings. And whereas Building Safety Month provides an opportunity to recognize and commend the dedicated professionals who contribute to the safety of the built environment and to encourage public awareness and participation in building and safety practices. And now, therefore, I, Jason Showalter, Mayor of City of Goodland, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Building Safety Month. Zach, we appreciate everything that you do in order to protect all the buildings and property and enforce codes and all the things that you do, so thank you, we appreciate it. Would you like a picture with us? Okay.
I'm hurt.
That's all right, if we gave everybody a chance, they probably would turn us down.
My
so.
makeup done before the meeting.
That's right. All right, we have no ordinances and resolutions listed. We'll move on to item 6, formal actions. Item A, staff requesting to issue an invitation to bid cleanup at 517 Sherman for the environmental code violations. Now you have to come up.
I knew I'd be up here to see you. Good evening.
Evening.
We have discussed this property previously in February. I have been dealing with it since the middle of last year. I did get some response from the property owner. It is a rental property. The owner is in Weston, Kansas. So I did get a little bit of a response, which is why I didn't bring it to you guys right away. And then once I brought it to you guys and I set the public hearing, there was another response and a little bit more got done, but it's at that standstill point again. It's not quite to the point of being good. I get complaints from the neighbors pretty regularly. So this is just asking for permission, I guess, guidance to put out the invitation to bid to clean up the rest of the property.
Okay. Any questions for Zach about 517 Sherman?
I think we've given them more than enough time, so I'm definitely, on board with moving forward with, getting a bid. Do you normally have multiple people who respond to the bids? Or do you just put it out there for
Since
certain?
I've been here, we've only done one property cleanup, and we did have, I think, 3 bids on that, possibly 4.
So what's the process after you get the bids? Do you then communicate back with the property owner saying, I now have these bids? If you don't take care of it, you're gonna be responsible for,
That was the point of the public hearing, was giving them a time frame to handle it. And then if it wasn't handled at that due date, then that was our permission to move forward with abating the conditions that were existing on the property.
And then, once we move forward, then does the city pay for it up front, and then their bill, just like their
Yes.
bill on utilities?
So we would pay for it up front, then the property owner would have 30 days to pay that back. If not paid, then it gets assigned as a special assessment to the property taxes.
I feel comfortable moving forward to get bids.
I'll make a motion to approve the issuing of bids for 517 to put it back into environmental codes. So it's not in violation. There we go.
A second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Redland, second by Commissioner Cloyd. Mary, roll.
Howard.
Yes.
Redmond.
Yes.
Cloyd,
Yes.
Archer, Showalter.
Yes. Thank you, Zach. For item B, it is quotes on bellows for catalysts at the power plants.
I'll ask Director of Public Power, Destin, to come up and explain the information that was provided.
Evening.
Just present some background, several years had to have catalysts installed on our generating units, and, this is the second time we got to replace them. First time we had, Mid-Continent Sales, had a pretty decent bid, and that was, I think it was before I even took over Power Plant, so not long there. So we reached out to Mid-Continent Sales, price had gone up about 4 times of what it was previous, so Chris reached out to, a different, bidder, and, we got multiple bids, we got them 6 from Mid-Continent, we got them 6 each for Bellows, and then 12 each. 12 would have gave us a little bit of savings, but would have been a pretty good hit on my line item for this year. So I'm recommending, at least I recommend it to Kent, that we go with the 6 of each size Bellows from Bellows System.
So 12 total, but
12
6
total,
of each
6
size. That's why it says in your CCCF 12 Bellows, but there's 6 of each size.
Any questions, comments, or concerns for Dustin?
The 12 Bellows, 6 of each size, what you're proposing, is that within your budget then?
Yes. I mean, it's still a pretty good hit, but, yeah, we'll take it out of our, maintenance. So,
I'll make a motion to approve, $22,278 to Bellows Systems for a total of 12 bellows.
Have a motion from Commissioner Howard,
Second it?
second by Commissioner Cloyd. Mary, roll.
Cloyd,
Yes.
Redlin,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Archer, Showalter.
Yes. Thank you. Move on to item C, which is an add-on item, the bid for trees at 808 Kansas. Lou?
The previous meeting, we discussed about removing 2 trees, one of which was laying on top of the structure, the other which was rotted completely out through the center. I did put the invitation for bid out and received 4 back. Zeb Smith came in at 7,000 without removing the stumps, 7,500 with removal of the stumps. Flatland Electric came in at 9,500, and that was with the removal of the stumps. He didn't bid without removing the stumps. Goodies was 4,000 to just remove the trees, and 5,500 to remove the trees and stumps. And Woodbenders was 5,000 for just the trees and 6,200 for the trees with the stumps. My recommendation would be to go for the lowest bid at 5,500 for the trees and the stumps, with completion date of 30 days after the award.
Do we have any particular reason we would pay the extra $1,500 to have the stumps removed? Or do we leave that to the property owner at some later date?
The thought behind it was that's a property we have to mow all the time, and it would save our contract mower damage from their machines if the stumps were removed out of the property instead of the grass being over the top of them before they started mowing.
So this bill will get added onto their taxes too?
Correct.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns for Zach?
I'll make a motion to approve the bid to Goodies for the amount of $5,500.
Have a motion by Commissioner Redlin,
Second.
have a second by Commissioner Howard. Mary, roll.
Redlin,
Yes.
Cloyd,
Yes.
Archer, Howard,
Yes.
Showalter.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to discussion items. Item A is the potential IRB for the grain mill project and set public hearing dates. Kent?
There's been discussion over the last couple months, and it really hasn't they've done more discussing with the bond attorney regarding industrial revenue bonds. They have enough financing regarding the Green Mill project, but in order to qualify for sales tax exemption on some purchase of equipment, that's where the industrial revenue bond comes into play. And what they would like to do is to actually start that process so that they can move forward on that. This would just set a hearing date, and then there will be additional information from the bond attorney regarding an industrial revenue bond for that project. Industrial revenue bonds are often done for economic development projects. It really does not increase costs for the city to do so. We're actually just the vehicle in the state of Kansas that industrial revenue bonds are done through local governments. As far as the issuer and purchaser, and then the developer is actually the one that ends up paying back the bonds regarding it. But because there was some question with a previous industrial revenue bond for hotel project on the south side of town for the Holiday Inn Express. That whole area was done with IRBs that were involved with that. And we're almost done with that, all the accounting that's done with that industrial revenue bond on the south side of the city. There's also been IRBs issued for when the RBs went in. Those are a couple other examples. Those are smaller examples. This is a larger example of an industrial revenue bond.
Are there any downsides to an IRB?
I guess one downside is regarding the sales tax exemption part of it. That sales tax that would be collected by the local governments, but it's actually done to actually help the project come to viability. And it actually pays for the infrastructure that's done to make it come about. I don't have any other answers for that question.
When we had some initial conversations with the group that was involved in this was one of the requests that they had asked us to consider as part of a economic incentive package for them to consider building here.
Yeah. One thing that gets involved with an industrial, and I'm reading through this again, just you remind me, Angie, regarding this is there is a cost benefit analysis that has to be done for the IRBs, and that's at the developer's expense. That's not at the city's expense. So there is a quick cost benefit analysis that is done and is provided as part of the documentation before the IRB is approved.
Does it have to be does it have to be done before the public hearing is set?
No.
Okay.
But it'll be done.
If approved, what's a timeline to schedule a hearing like that? The statement that was included in your packet is to conduct a public hearing at the next city commission meeting on May 18th. And the bonds are proposed to be issued by the issuer under the authority of the Kansas statute listed 12-1740 et cetera, to pay the cost of the acquisition, construction, and equipment of a flour mill, bakery, and wheat delivery system facility to be located in the industrial park on the west side. The governing body of the issuer will now pass an ordinance authorizing the issuance of such revenue bonds until the public hearing has been concluded. The
cost benefit analysis has to be done before the revenue bonds are issued. So I do have a correction from my earlier statement regarding when the cost benefit analysis is done.
Well, I certainly think it's part of a package that makes sense for us to put together and try to work with the group that's going to bring in, you know, potentially over 100 jobs and revenue that will be generated. Tax dollars are going to be generated once it's operational. So I don't necessarily have any issues with setting a public hearing date.
I agree.
Agree.
Yep, I agree too.
It's basically just staff direction.
Staff is directed to schedule a public hearing. All right, move on to item B, finalize the date for the joint city-county meeting reinvestment housing incentive district project.
We had talked about, the development group that's looking at, some housing on the northwest side of town. We had talked about the couple lots on the north of Topside Manor and also eventually the parcel. They wanted to do a presentation. We were gonna try to have that at a joint city-county meeting. They had worked out with the county a number of dates in May over the next couple weeks, and that has not worked out in order to set the meeting. So, from parties from different sides regarding that. A number of dates wouldn't work with the people there involved. So they're now looking at some time in June, whether it be second week in June or the third week in June. I just wanted to make sure regarding your calendars if there's any dates not to have included on that.
I can't do anything from the 1st through the 19th. Just so y'all are aware. That's our shutdown, so we have two weeks of nonstop work. So we have to be out there to get that plant ready to go.
I'm unavailable the second week of June.
I'm good, all through June.
I'm good.
Okay, we'll try to work with those dates and see if we can come up with something.
I can swing anything else. It's just that's mandatory. I be there. So
Okay.
Okay, move on to the water conservation review of city code and drought monitor.
There was a little bit of discussion at a previous meeting from commissioners as far as concern regarding water, since it's been awful dry, obviously, through the winter and spring. What I included in your packets was the section on the water conservation code, which involves some steps that the city can have. Also included in your packet, one of the latest, there's now been an additional week on that as far as the U.S. Drought Monitor. There's been also something else that I put at your desk as far as a proclamation by the governor that proclaiming states of drought for Kansas County is basically has drought watch for the entire west half of Kansas. And then drought warning for a number of counties down towards the southeast, but then also, or
we're
drought,
in drought warning.
drought warning is the west side, and then drought emergency is the counties directly north of us, Cheyenne, Rollins, Decatur, the counties along the Nebraska state line they have declared as a drought emergency already, and they put us in drought warning. Now, that's with the little bit of rain that we ended up with last week, but it obviously whatever happens this week may affect that. But what I did want to let you know is, what are the steps that the commission can take, our staff can recommend for the commission to take. There's a declaration of a water watch, there's declaration of a water warning, and declaration of water emergency. They can also involve a couple different tools. One is, as it says in section 17506, voluntary conservation measures, which can measures to eliminate or eliminate non-essential water uses, which is a lot of outdoor water use. It lists 4 different things there, which includes sprinkling water on lawns, washing of automobiles, and use of water in pools, fountains, or evaporative air conditioning systems. That can move from voluntary to mandatory conservation measures, which we can have restrictions. There's 5 different tools, 6 different tools, basically 5 different. You can have a combination of any of those tools that are listed in code, which can include suspension of new connections and restrictions on the uses of water, or restrictions of the sales of water for certain uses, or some formula of water rationing. And then they have section 17508, which is probably, you can make different rules and have people, expect people to follow them. You can see regarding some of the other rules we have in town regarding code enforcement, that often becomes an enforcement. How strong is the enforcement of those mechanisms? That does have a section in here that has emergency water rates, and we'll have additional excess water use surcharges for a large, if you use a lot of water, basically 5,000 to 10,000 cubic feet, 10,000 to 15,000 cubic feet, and etc. And then it moves it through different phases. Has a phase 1, and then instead of 5,000 where it starts, then it moves down on a phase 2 to 2,500 cubic feet. Oftentimes, additional rates will have a larger effect on behavior than just having rules stated. But before we would do anything, I wanted to present the code and the different steps that we could take. Currently, and we're going to start announcing that as far as what our water usage is on a daily basis, just to let people know. Because as dry as it's been, the water usage, Neil has let us know it's gone up significantly earlier this year than it has in years past. We're pretty much over 1 million gallons per day right now. Now our wintertime usage is about how much per day, Neil?
400,000.
So that's about the indoor water usage is 340,000 gallons a day. 1 million gallons a day, obviously that's, 3 times the usage that we're up to. Now the middle of summer when it's 100 degrees for a couple weeks on end, we get up to how many million gallons per day?
Over 2 million a day.
Sometimes we reach 3 million gallons a day, do we not?
Yes.
Oof.
And we're at 1.4 since midnight, and the plant is going to kick on within the next hour. And so we got until midnight for the total for today. We're at 1.4 right now.
So it just gives you an idea of the water usage and the impact to our system of how that occurs, and then impact to our wells and everything else involved with our system. When we do get up to 2.5–3 million gallons per day, the water treatment plant basically never shuts off. Obviously, it just keeps working to provide water to the system. Doesn't mean that it's, you know, anything is in disrepair or not working regarding the system. It's just what we have to do to try to keep up with it. So, wanted to present some of this information to you as far as we're already dry. This isn't going to wait till July for us to start encouraging people. I know that Commissioner Howard said something at the end of last meeting regarding when the people use their water. It's also a question of how much water is used. But it's going to, unless we get significant moisture, we're going to be in a drought situation earlier this year, obviously.
But the plan right now is to communicate with the public about how much we're currently using so they can see the water fluctuation.
Yes, sir.
Just to give you a little context too, I don't know if Neil's been contacted, but our groundwater management district is about to implement its own restrictions through the water office and everything too. Gonna start requiring mandatory reports from the cities. They usually were exempt from the LEMAs, they're gonna put them in there.
So what does this require us to do? Anything?
No additional items yet.
Okay.
Just basically identification at this point.
Besides education, what else is there? What else can we do?
Well, any of the things on this list here?
It's like implementing rates, like you're capped at this rate, things like that.
It's just an additional charge
Just an additional charge.
over a certain amount. Staff is not asking for you, but if you have that recommendation, we can put something together regarding that for next meeting, if you would like. Or we can, if there's other things that you want staff to put together for, or start announcing to the public, we can certainly do that too.
I think to look at increased water rates right now would probably jumping the gun a little bit, but I think it probably starts with kind of the steps that you already have in place, which is a good communication strategy that this is the issue that we're facing. This is currently what we're using. And if this doesn't get better, then there are other options on the table that we might have to explore. But I think in general, the public right now maybe doesn't have a good grasp or understanding of what kind of issues we're facing. And we need to communicate with them that if we don't change our ways, then we will have to look at some of these other courses of action.
Potentially including some recommendations, like, for example, if you're watering daily, think about cutting back to watering every other day. Or, if there's other suggestions, I think that would be good to include in the education for the public. And when we think about the communication, would that go out in the utilities billing so they get something that's printed? Would it be on the website? Like, would it be on Facebook? Like, what type of communication are we planning to do?
I think it'll be on multiple platforms. It'll be on the Facebook post, what we have. We'll also have something. The timing may not be right unless we would have a special mailing to do something. To wait for the next billing cycle, that may not be the best.
Or if a message through the online portal could be done, that would be another idea. The
Yeah.
billing portal.
Yeah, there's something along those lines that could be done.
We could have the mayor do a video infomercial on this.
There you go. That would get everyone.
With a raincoat.
Yeah.
In a
Don't need a
raincoat.
raincoat.
In the snow tomorrow.
And it's
Yeah.
raining men playing in the background.
No.
I
And
think
I-
this
I-
is
I
this is
think-
coming together.
I think we need to mention in there that if they have automatic sprinklers, that they need to check their sprinklers to make sure that they're not watering the concrete or the street. Cause if you drive around and look, there are quite a few that water the street and the block, and the water is running down the gutter 2 or 3 blocks.
What he's talking about.
I know, that's the other point I want in there. But you can go around and look at those and on the video.
Oh, I know
there
what you're
too,
talking.
see?
I know what you're talking about.
You know, I think what you talked about was showing them what the current water usage is. That's really
Yeah.
kind of an ingenious idea. Make a graphic, something that looks eye-catching that people are gonna see when that shows up each day. And they're gonna check it, they're gonna check back each day, and hopefully that will start to change the behavior.
Yeah.
If they can see
Show
what
like
the number is.
this is normal. This is where we're at. Like
And we need to work on getting it here so that we
Yeah.
don't have to implement more measures.
yeah.
Like one of the things that I saw on the list in the packet was like preventing filling up pools. It would be sad if we couldn't fill up the city pool, for example, trying to save on water. But again, those are types of points to include in the education.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of, once the city swimming pool is full, the amount of additional water we need on a daily basis is marginal compared to our overall usage. And I think it's only a couple 100,000 gallon pool, I forget what it is. 500,000 gallons or something like that. To start with. But there are things that, you know, that to just think of, you know, the entire town uses 300 to 400,000 gallons in the winter. And we use up to 10 times that amount in the middle of summer. And that is, you know, 9/10 of that water is for stuff outside. Now, we do want things looking better, but that doesn't mean, be conscious of how much water and is it having an effect? Is it having an effect? It's not gonna grow the concrete anymore. And also during the afternoon, noon to 5, noon to 6 time frame. It doesn't have, when it starts getting a lot warmer, it doesn't really have as good an effect on your lawn. And your lawn is gonna be okay if it waits for the water till the evening, you know, and how many days a week. You know, our neighbors to the west, they have been involved with that on a number of occasions where it's only once every 3 days or once every other day. It doesn't have to be every single day. Now, gardens and certain types of other things, sometimes it is. But that doesn't mean the entire landscape needs to have it. But we start with awareness and then can look at additional restrictions if that doesn't. And we're not looking to reduce all of it, we're just making people aware so it doesn't get as much. Especially from the dry start we're getting to this year.
I think that sounds good. Start with communication first. Probably say this is an important enough issue that we need to have this as kind of a reoccurring discussion item each meeting, so we can see where we're at, talk about it. Okay, anything else on that? All right, we'll move on to item 8, reports. City manager.
Included in your packet is the management memo. The police monthly activity report was actually did not get included in it. It would include in a separate email. We'll include it in the next meeting's packet as well. The one that's posted afterwards. This week, later this week, we have spring cleanup on May 7th and 8th, and I guess I would ask Kent and Keith to come up and explain the plan that the departments have for handling that this year.
Good evening.
Evening.
So I guess I'll let you guys know I talked to Rod Roder this morning, and everything's still good for the landfill. We haven't talked to Ken about this yet, but we might run into a little issue with the moisture for Thursday and Friday with our trucks being able to dump at C&D. So me and Rod's going to communicate Wednesday night, see where we're at on it, see if he's not able to let us dump on top for those days. We just have to see what kind of moisture we get, but we're gonna have to do a little work around that part. But as far as our operation, we'll start Thursday morning. I have 2 crews built out. One's going east to west, and one's going north to south. We start on 17th, and the one crew starts on 17th, and one crew starts on Caltrail. We work across town till we're to the end, and then we'll usually we get pretty close to maybe Friday by noon, where we make it clear through the town. We're able to go do a quick work through, make sure we didn't miss anything, and then we're done. So that's how it's been about the last 3 years. It's been pretty quick and easy. So
What should people do to have stuff picked up?
everything needs to be out there just on the curb of the house. I mean, if we can't get to it with our loaders, we're not going to go up on private property to take care of it. So, but yeah, it needs to be out on the front curb. If you're on a corner lot, as long as it's on your south side, north side, or whatever, as long as it's on the curb, we'll pick it up. So, if it's something you guys if the public does not want, and it's been out on the curb, might say something that let us know that you don't want that hauled off, because we have had that in the past where we get, hey, I didn't want that hauled off. It got hauled off, sorry.
You have my permission to pick up any KU Jayhawk rocks around town. You see them, just pick them up and take them to the dump.
Any other questions?
Got several big piles out there, so good luck.
I've seen a few tree piles growing, so.
We appreciate all your efforts during that. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
What's listed on the agenda, we also had a grant award for the fuel systems at the airport project. Actually, this was the first time we had applied for it, and we were awarded it. Now it's through KDOT Aviation, and it's actually using the money that's already dedicated for it, or amongst the monies that we can use for the airport, and which gets added to each year. But it was a pretty significant award, and we'll start working on that here. The next few meetings, we'll have some additional from the engineers regarding that. One thing I wanted to check with you all on, well, there's a couple different things. One is a budget calendar. We'll have a budget calendar. After all the different legislature talk regarding changing the process regarding budgets, at the end, the governor vetoed the final bill. Well, there was one bill passed, and then it was vetoed, and then on the override of the veto, there was a second bill. And the governor vetoed that as well. That would have changed our timing tremendously. during the summer. Because of the veto, and then the state legislature said, we're done, this is the end. We are going to be following the same process as previous years. So we'll have a calendar at the next meeting to let you know regarding those things. The one thing, and I won't ask you because I don't have any definitive thing to ask for a specific date, but the way we do the budget will need to be done before the second meeting in July. Our second meeting in July is on July 20th. That's the date by 5 o'clock that we need to have our budget to the county clerk regarding R&R hearing. So we will need to be done before that July 20th date. So I will have a specific question regarding timing of certain meetings before that July 20th date at our next meeting to talk to you about. But the process at least will be about the same as previous years. Now, because of the closeness of the situation that involved, I don't expect future years will be the same, but for this year we are about the same budget process, at least timing wise, and what our requirements are. I have one thing just to clarify with you. I don't think we had a definitive answer. We had a renewal of the contract with, or an extension basically of the contract with Merchant McIntyre regarding the additional work regarding the EDA grant. The EDA grant was submitted and on April 30th, and now we're going to wait until they give us some feedback and ask for whatever additional information they need. And then also the additional work regarding the congressionally directed spending request on the second entrance into the industrial park. Along with that, they had included on there the Safe Streets for All grant submission at the end of May. Is the commission okay with staff submitting a grant application on the Safe Streets for All as far as the planning grant? I talked with Andrew with EBH again regarding it today. It would be helpful to have that planning grant out of the way in order to qualify for certain type of road improvements. And the specific one, as far as safe streets, it's often talking about pedestrian maneuver. And the one that keeps coming up in different meetings is obviously, or not so obviously maybe, since the discussions haven't been at this table as often, but to have some sort of additional pedestrian trail along Highway 24 to get to the commercial corridor and especially the grocery store at the Walmart. In order to qualify for certain things, you need to have the planning grant out of the way. That would be the reason for the Safe Streets for All. There would be a federal grant that would be, we would be submitting for. Is it okay to include that as part of their contract, or is that what we continue?
I think as long as we've got them under contract, get as much work at them as we can.
Okay. I just wanted to
I
clarify.
like having that submitted so that it doesn't prevent us from moving forward in the future to use that Safe Streets and Roads grant
Okay.
where we want to.
Okay. We've also, Dustin and I, have talked with, because it was at the KMU conference over the last couple weeks, or 2 weeks ago. It was brought to our attention as far as the boundary between the city of Goodland's territory and Midwest Energy territory as far as providing electrical service. And because of those conversations, we are going to be contacting the KCC, Kansas Corporation Commission, to clarify, to be able to clean up. And that's what it is basically cleaning up the boundary map. That's the official boundary map between Midwest Energy and the city of Goodland, to make sure that everything's correct. And from initial discussions, it seems like there is a process that can solve that and not get into, it's a regular process to do. But I don't think the formalized process has been followed over since the original boundary was set with the KCC back in the 1970s. So even though we've had annexations, obviously, over the last 5 decades, somehow the communication hasn't been as regular regarding the boundary change between Midwest Energy and the city of Goodland as well. To me, thinking that it should have a normalized process where it occurs, it doesn't seem like it has occurred. So we're going to be working on cleaning that up and making sure that everything's accounted for. So, and one of the parts that has brought this up is that the boundary runs through the industrial park. And even though it's been annexed since the 1980s, and the city actually owns or has owned it since the last 15 years or so, the boundary has never moved. So it's the matter of what's the process to get that cleaned up and actually, and then and we do have ordinances and we do have everything that's been communicated, because we have to report it to the state as well. The commission is asked to pass a boundary resolution anytime our boundary changes on an annual basis. I was thinking that would be a normalized process. That would be also given to the KCC, but.
So the goal would be to include all of the industrial park within.
Well, and not just the industrial park, but the entire boundary of Goodland. As far as the electric territory that is served by the city of Goodland versus what's served by Midwest Energy, which basically serves everything outside the city.
This isn't affecting anything like immediate, like we're not having any issues with like, we're serving like it's a city customer maybe right now, but they need to be Midwest. It's nothing like that. This is just for.
No.
Would a property have to
Yeah.
change whose service is there?
No.
Yeah.
No, but there are a couple properties that are outside the city limits. Dustin and I have talked about it a couple different times, that are in strange locations just because it was, at one time, it was just easier for the city of Goodland to extend rather than Midwest Energy to provide power to them. And so the boundary does show that, but it's strange how those maps work, so.
Okay.
Do you have anything else to provide, Dustin? But I just wanted to let you know that staff will be working with Midwest Energy on that. And if there's anything that the commission needs to be a part of, we'll present it to you. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or concerns for the city manager? If not, I'll move on to commissioner reports. I'll start on my right with Commissioner Cloyd.
Nothing for tonight.
Commissioner Howard,
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Redland,
Yeah, I just wanted to say I thought we had good response to the incident that happened. Was it Friday? Is that what it was?
April 29th,
Yes, yeah. I just wanted to say, there was great communication between city, county, state, and handling that, and I appreciate you guys following protocol, and yeah, I'm glad it was just a training exercise. You know, obviously, it was good. I was really appreciative that you guys worked really well together.
Chief Earhart and all of them set up a really good command staff, and yeah, it was obviously no real threat, but we took it as serious. So yeah,
Yep.
they did a good job. Did you guys want me to provide context to that, or you?
If the rest of the I would like context. It'd be great for me. I'd like to hear it.
If there's something that you can share.
Sure. I'll come up there. Hold on, can you all hear me from back here? Yeah. Okay. So, on that day, Walmart employees received a phone call from unknown number, anonymous caller. He advised staff that he had planted a couple pipe bombs throughout the building, and he wasn't going to disclose where, and advised them that they had about 20 minutes to evacuate. With doing so, he also stated, the caller stated that he was in the area, provided some kind of make and model, that law enforcement did actively chase down every vehicle that fit the description, made contact with a few people. There was an evacuation that was conducted immediately. Chief Earhart and the fire chief and the sheriff all worked together on the command staff. We then contact the KHP bomb squad. They sent in the bomb dogs, and I went in with them and they did a thorough search. And then probably about 8 hours later, Walmart was able to reestablish their regular daily activities, and everything turned out good. So that's pretty much what happened in a nutshell.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for
sure.
sharing that.
No problem.
And for the mayor's report, I don't have anything. So I would take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Redland, second by myself. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.